Shortlisted in the best visual identity from the TMT sector, we have MultiAdaptor for their work for OneFlow. A really interesting piece, guys. I've got Ben and Andy, Creative Director and Strategy Director for MultiAdaptor. The judges really thought that this was a bold piece, something very different. Perhaps you can tell us a little bit about the project.
Sure. So it feels like a kind of, I guess, like a benchmark project for MultiAdaptor, but it also represents like exactly what we set out to do with all our clients, which is just do something really different, really bold, really brave. And there was just this perfect match this time with our client OneFlow, because they had that ambition. They came to us with that brief. It wasn't full of kind of, difficult objectives and, statistics and metrics. It was just like, we want to stand out, we want to do something different, we want to be brave, and, we latched onto that. So.
And what's really interesting for us is they deal with contracts, like automated contract kind of software as a service. Seemingly quite boring, and actually typified by a lot of startups in that space, which are friendly and functional, and they do things nicely, but don't really stand out. And to echo what Ben was saying, really, we just saw it as a creative opportunity to actually really be brave creatively, do something really different, and unlike what you would expect in that sort of space.
Fantastic. It's an interesting sector. On one hand, there are a lot of clients trying to do kind of new things, a lot of new and innovative people in that space. On the other hand, there's a lot of people slightly frightened to take too big a risk. Mm-hmm. Is it a sector you particularly specialise in, and is it something you're kind of going for? What do you bring to that sector?
Not in contracts specifically, but SaaS, software as a service. We do a lot of those sorts of brands, and so I'd say we sort of have built up a bit of knowledge in that area and understanding of what the kind of codes and sort of design cues are there, which, as I mentioned a minute ago, are keeping things very simple, very clean, but actually not really taking any risks, not really no personality or character, very sort of functional and friendly, but actually not doing anything that different. So I think across whether that's in education, or if it's in AI, or if it's in contracts in OneFlow's case, it's about how can software as a service be more interesting and engage with people.
And I think one of the things that's really exciting from a creative opportunity with those kind of sectors is that they are very intangible. It's not like there's a glossy shot of some product, be that kind of apparel or kind of beauty stuff. You have to imagine how to represent the intangible. And I think, with OneFlow, like when we latched onto the idea of it feeling like magic, well, it's such a rich kind of visual vocabulary that you can kind of tap into, and the floodgates kind of open to white bunnies and hula hooping and, things transforming from one thing to another. So, it was just, once we'd sort of unlocked that idea, it was just brilliant.
And that's a key point, really, in that previously OneFlow had, they built this product, it was great, they had some happy customers, but they were trying to explain it with like a million benefits, and there was not really one simple way of really capturing like why it was great and why they were different. So to sort of Ben's point, that kind of idea of flow, which is the sort of big idea at the heart of the brand, and representing that with magic, just gives them that angle to sort of speak to people in a really simple, more emotive way, other than functional benefits.
And I'd say, in terms of their culture, it felt really authentic as well. It wasn't just like what's different, what's going to stand out. It just really resonated with them because that's the way they show up. They're very creative in their kind of approach to what they do.
Yeah.
Typically, like you could, the perception of that category would be quite dull. But their business isn't dull, and their product wasn't dull either. They just didn't have the mechanism to kind of wrap it all together into something which was kind of compelling and distinctive.
And that's what we've heard sort of down the line, really, is that the brand and the platform that we've given them has really unlocked creativity in the business, where they sort of didn't have those sort of tools before. Now they've got the license and the ways to sort of play with the brand and to really cut through with their sort of marketing and their own initiatives and things like that.
Fantastic, great. Well, thank you so much for sharing that with us, and good luck tonight.
Cool.
Thank
Thanks
you.
very
All
much.
right, thank you.
Cheers.